Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. Conversations about the end of life can be difficult, but professionals known as death doulas are available to help with the transition.
As long as we've been living, we've been dying. And so death doulas are really an ancient role.
Ahead, we visit a woman and the doulas helping her on her journey. Residents were caught off guard when trees were cut down to make way for the Fullerton Pike Project, a corridor linking to I-69 just southwest of Bloomington.
It's like anything with the government, you never know. They'll talk about it for a lot of years before they ever start something.
Construction on the project is expected to begin next summer. And longtime Bloomington bookstore Caveat Emptor may be closing if new owners can't be found soon. We'll have these stories plus the latest news from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk.
A regular old-fashioned girl.
Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Last week, trees on West Gordon Pike and West Fullerton Pike were cut down to make room for Phase 3 of the Fullerton Pike Project. The project has been on the county's agenda for years, but the recent action concerned and frustrated residents in the area. Benta Boutier has the story.
Two phases of the project have been finished. The third and final phase will be the most visible. In the prep work, cutting trees has Highlands resident Jim Borman worried.
Some were beautiful, tall, 30, 40-year-old pine trees. There were maple trees, beautiful, colorful maple trees. And trees are important for a lot of reasons.
The third phase will connect West Fullerton and West Gordon Pikes. When the project is complete, Sayre Road will hit Roar Road, which runs west into the newly connected Gordon-Fullerton stretch linking to I-69. What used to be a rural neighborhood saw a lot of development with the first two phases of the project, preparing Gordon Pike for an expected increase in traffic with roundabouts and other features. Wayne Vaught raised his family in a home on Fullerton that overlooks a few acres of clear-cut trees now. The project wasn't much of a surprise to him because the county obtained part of his family's property for this phase.
They've been talking about it for several years. I don't remember, probably 10 years ago or longer. But it's like anything with the government, you never know. They'll talk about it for a lot of years before they ever start something.
He'd had land taken before by the Indiana Department of Transportation through right-of-way acquisition for I-69, and didn't feel he had much of a choice once plans were set into motion this time around.
We went to one of the meetings about it, and it was basically the same as when we went to all the highway meetings. They really won't answer any questions. They just tell you what's going on. They want your input, but they don't really answer anything.
Monroe County Highway Director Lisa Ridge says she's aware that tree cutting for the project came as a surprise for some in the area and takes responsibility for the lack of notification. But her department has been working on the project since 2008. Better east-west connectivity, access to I-69, and ways to bypass traffic through the center of Bloomington have been on the books since the county's initial thoroughfare and capital improvements plan was created in 1995. Fullerton and Gordon Pikes have always been priorities for development because of I-69 and dedicated rights-of-way. Ridge says it's taken so much time to get to the third phase of construction because the county needed to wait for federal funds and follow procedures to qualify.
I think at this point, we're looking at about a $13 million project overall for just phase 3. So that's why it takes a lot of years to get to the point of being able to construct it.
She says contractors have been told to preserve trees when they can, and adds the highway department has altered the project along the way based on public input. Medians have been added and removed as requested, and the project will not be a designated truck route. Highway officials say when the Fullerton project is done, it's supposed to eliminate cut-through traffic in Bachelor Heights and other neighborhood subdivisions. Vada is frustrated with how the county managed his utilities through the right-of-way acquisition. He says the county won't bring water to his property as part of the acquisition, even though he has to connect to the sewer, making things complicated and expensive. The county gave him $23,385 total for the land and damages, covering some utility costs. But he says this doesn't consider the toll it's taken on his family. Just a few miles away, the county bought the property for a new county jail at about $115,000 per acre.
You're not getting very much money for your property. You do get a little bit of damage money. And the damage money, basically, a lot of that's for what you have to do. I mean, we shouldn't have to be the ones that hook up the sewer. That shouldn't be our responsibility. They're the ones tearing up our property. We have to put in the time to hire somebody, talk to people, go see a lawyer. We have to do all this. If they would just do it, you know, we would be out less. I mean, it'd be their expense. We wouldn't have to worry about it.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Bente Boutier.
Construction on the road is expected to begin in the summer. Well, we're joined now by Callie Lichter for more headlines from around the state. Hello, Callie.
Thanks, Joe. A historic downtown Columbus building cannot be saved after an early Sunday morning blaze. The building was used for business and commercial purposes near the corner of 5th and Washington Streets. Columbus fire officials say a passerby reported the fire Saturday at 11:50 p.m. It took firefighters 4 hours to get the fire under control, and 3 firefighters had minor injuries. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
It's a real shame. That building dates from 1890s. It has a direct tie to Joseph I. Irwin, who was one of the leading prominent citizens back in the day, back in the 1800s.
Irwin sold the building in 1945 to a family that still owns it today. The building design is referred to as Queen Anne, identifiable by the window treatments, quite different from the modern architecture for which Columbus is known.
It was quite attractive. I mean, we all, commented on it or remarked about the fact that it was somewhat unique for this city.
5th Street will be closed for a couple months while the building is demolished. Bloomington City Council Wednesday approved almost $30 million in public safety facility improvements. However, it's unclear if it will use the money to expand City Hall. Mayor John Hamilton's administration wants to purchase the CFC Business Plaza in the Showers building and remodel it into a police station and fire administration headquarters. The police union opposes the expansion because of privacy and location concerns. But Hamilton says it brings both public safety groups together at City Hall.
I do think the future of public safety is going to be, should be, and I believe will be, a greater and greater integration and openness of what public safety work is.
Regardless of whether the city purchases the Shower building, Council already approved the funding. Council will meet to discuss the Showers building December 14th. Bloomington is waiting to renew operating licenses for e-scooter companies until the city comes up with new recommendations to improve operating safety. City officials say the new licenses will include recommendations to address concerns after 2 e-scooter related deaths and an expansion of fleets in the city. Officials are taking a look at rider safety and parking issues inside Bloomington and other cities to create the recommendations.
Understanding what the value of scooters is, potentially what the problems are, and then is there a way to come up with a operating model that can thread that needle.
Though some people are advocating for e-scooters to leave Bloomington, Crowley says city officials hope to renew operating licenses by February without taking anything off the table. The Caveat Emptor bookstore has been a Bloomington staple for the last 51 years. But if new owners aren't found, the bookstore may finally close its doors. Ethan Sanweiss has the report.
Husband and wife Eric and Catherine Brown bought Caveat Emptor from its original owner, Giannis Starks, in 2016. Starks was retiring, and the Browns wanted to keep the store exactly as it was.
We've always prided ourselves in being old school. Like, we want people to walk in and have an experience that they could have walking into a 19th century London bookshop or a late 20th century New York or San Francisco or any this could be any time, anywhere.
With pandemic restrictions lifted, Caveat Emptor is once again able to sustain itself financially. But Eric says he doesn't feel that he and Catherine can give the store the time and energy it needs to thrive.
To me, that's actually the saddest part of us closing, is that it doesn't need to happen. I mean, it's not a financial thing. It's just a human resource thing at this point.
Its owners hope someone will save the store like they did 6 years ago. The store, with its books, shelves, and history, is still for sale, but Eric and Catherine are preparing to clean house by the end of January.
It's just not good enough to sustain anymore. It needs to thrive. So we kind of just made the decision, someone needs to take for it and move forward, or else it needs to close down. So,
if it does close, the Browns say they will sell as many of the store's 40,000 books as they can and donate the rest. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
The Browns say they will continue selling the most rare and valuable books online. The Hoosier Lottery will pay its private vendor $6 million as part of a settlement between the two entities. The settlement comes out of 3 disputes with IGT Indiana, which has operated the lottery for about a decade. The money will come out of more than $300 million Indiana should get from the lottery at the end of the fiscal year. Brown County State Park was ranked number 6 on a list of the top 10 most beautiful American state parks in a recent Travel Lens study. The park features dozens of activities, including mountain biking, more than 250 campsites, horsemen's camps, over 70 miles of horse trails, a lodge with an indoor water park, and more. The study also ranked Brown County State Park number 13 for most Instagram state parks. And that's all the time we have for headlines this week. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thanks, Callie. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. The end of life can be a difficult time, but death doulas are available to help guide people through the process. And an Indiana University professor uses old technology to help hone student skills behind the camera. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Public television's mission is to create a more informed and engaged public with inspiring programs, compelling stories, and trustworthy news. And we can't do it without a team of professional journalists, media specialists, engineers, and administrators making it happen both on the air and behind the scenes. Want to work for WTIU? Find the latest job postings on our website. Details at WTIU.org/jobs.
Life is full of choices, and right now your favorite member benefit, Passport, is offering more choices for you to stream.
Welcome to the club.
It's a beautiful thing. With cooking.
I gotta let it cook, but I keep wanting to smell it.
Travel.
And here we are.
Documentaries.
I realized I could change the world.
And so much more. The choice is yours with Passport on the PBS Video app.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Having conversations about dying can be uncomfortable, awkward, even scary, but death is a reality we'll all face. There's a profession of people who guide people through the process of dying that's different from hospice or palliative care. They're called end-of-life doulas. My colleague Sarah Whitmire joins us now with more.
Thanks, Joe. The profession really began surging during the pandemic, and people were surrounded by death and thinking a lot more about their own mortality. End-of-life doulas are all about supporting the family and the patient to make sure dying is a peaceful journey.
Kelly McLaughlin makes her way to the couch in her Carmel living room, using her cane so she doesn't lose her balance. The strain she's under is written all over her and her husband Ryan's faces.
It's been a grueling couple of weeks, not just with the information and decisions we've had to make, but just that turn of the corner of, yes, I'm going to die from this.
Kelly has stage 4 brain cancer, and after surgery a year ago, the cancer's already back. It's the same kind that Joe Biden's son and Senator John McCain died from. And Kelly's the heartbeat of her little family. She and her husband share 4 children. The youngest is in kindergarten. She doesn't know yet that her mom is sick.
I feel like I'm the glue that kind of holds all this together.
Yeah.
And as I get weaker and more tired, I'm having to let some of that go, and I feel like, I can't be that person for my kids like I once was.
Angela Hershey and Jennifer Foley are here today to listen, provide support, and hopefully just help Kelly relax.
Is there anywhere you feel called to start, just as far as catching me up on anything new that's going on with you?
Angela lights incense and finishes laying out an assortment of healing stones and flowers on a small table between her and Kelly. Angela's been on Kelly's care team since August. She's part of a growing profession called end-of-life or death doulas.
An end-of-life doula is a non-medical person who supports dying people and their families through the entire experience of from being possibly diagnosed with a terminal illness, through navigating sort of the healthcare system even, including palliative and maybe accessing hospice care. As long as we've been living, we've been dying. And so death doulas are really an ancient role.
The term doula means a female-trained companion, and it's traditionally been used to identify a non-medical person who helps a woman during childbirth. Angela says you can think of end-of-life doulas as someone who helps you on your journey to dying.
I'm not coming in and taking the lead or telling them what to do or saying you should do this and you should do that. It's about letting them lead the way. I'm just walking alongside.
The National End-of-Life Doula Alliance provides training opportunities to end-of-life doulas and conducts research on the practice. Its membership's been growing steadily, particularly since the COVID pandemic started in 2020.
How people died, that was what became important. When you thought about people who were dying and being put in refrigerated trucks and, and things like that is not how we want to die. And the doula has always created that space for them to die in a peaceful manner.
Anyone can call themselves a death doula, but there are classes you can take and different trainings in everything from massage to understanding the grief process.
The consistent part of the training is to just try to teach people how to be non-judgmental, in that space, because, people have all types of things that are connected to them as far as their spirituality, their personal culture, their home culture. All of these things play a part, and the doula has to make space for all of that.
Kelly found Angela and Jennifer through her therapist. After meeting virtually, Kelly decided it was a good fit.
I'm all about the journey, and I'm, like I said, my kids are so dear to me, and she said, the last gift that you will give your children is teaching them how to die well. And that has been forever stuck in my head. She said there's no greater gift you can give them at the end of your life except to show them how to die well. And that's my goal.
I'll kind of stand over there and play the singing bowl, if that's okay.
Kelly lies back on the couch. It doesn't take much to drain her energy these days. While Angela stands and plays the singing bowl, her colleague Jennifer, who is a Reiki master, works with her hands to help Kelly relax and reduce some of her pain.
I have a heart healing perfume that's called Magica Rosa. Rose is really healing for the heart. I'm just going to place a little bit on your heart.
Kelly relaxes and seems to be drifting off.
If you want to smell what Edie Abel smelled like, Kayla, come
Really?
smell me. This is
Oh my
Mama.
gosh, here. Bring it to her. Put some on your heart if you want to.
Literally.
It has a roller.
I mean, tears are coming to my eyes. It smells just like her.
Well, just let her be with you now. Just stay with that. Don't come out of it. Stay with that.
As Kelly's condition worsens, Angela and Jennifer will come more often. They'll help make plans for hospice when the time comes. They'll figure out what Kelly wants when she's in transition. Does she want to be read to, hear a certain kind of music? Kelly hopes her last weeks and days will be that final gift to her children.
It doesn't have to be in a hospital with beeps and monitors and doctors. I mean, sometimes that's just how things turn out, and I get that. But this alternative way of approaching it as a very spiritual and sacred crowning of your life, I think it could be very healing for you and those you love.
Soon, Angela and Jennifer will start meeting with Kelly's kids. And after Kelly passes away, the doulas will transition to helping the family and supporting them as they deal with the grief of losing a wife and a mother.
One of the things the doulas have really helped Kelly with is prioritizing the time she has left. You know, this summer they met with her and helped her come up with the 3 priorities for how she wants to spend the rest of her life. Not surprisingly, family's number 1, friends is number 2, and raising awareness for glioblastoma is number 3, which is why she talked to us. But having those 3 buckets has really helped her to be able to say, no, I'm not going to spend my energy on that because it doesn't fit into one of the buckets.
We heard Kelly talk about her family in your story. Here's a clip from an interview with Kelly where she's talking about research and glioblastoma.
Nobody knows about it, and honestly, by the time you get diagnosed and finish up a little bit of treatment, over half the people have already died from it. I mean, the life expectancy for someone with my diagnosis is usually between 10 and 15 months after you're diagnosed. That's not very long. And the survival rate at 5 years is 3%. So, you just kind of do the best you can with what you have, all the while pushing for something more, something better. I mean, there's promising trials, but a lot of people aren't around long enough to get to the trial for it to work. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Glioblastoma is the most aggressive form of cancer that starts in the brain. And Kelly is just this incredibly positive person, but this has been a lot for her to process. She says as long as she still has the gift of life, she is going to do everything in her power to raise money and awareness to help find a cure for glioblastoma. And she used to run half marathons. So one of the things she does now is they do a 5K run to help raise awareness. She also does a variety of other fundraisers, and the amount of money she's helped raise for research has been well into the 6 figures. Her goal right now is to just keep advancing the ball, and when her time is done, she hopes someone else will pick up the ball and then work to keep advancing it some more.
Sarah, thank you so much. Amazing story, powerful story. Thank you very much. This week, Indiana University students and staff produced minute-long silent movies using a century-old hand-crank camera technology. Ethan Sandweiss has this story.
Teaching how to use the camera. You're going to go shoot, and you're going to come back. We're going to develop the film, and then you're going to scan it with your phones.
Bear Brown is a senior lecturer of photography and cinematography at IU. He has his students use a 35mm hand crank camera to learn about the fundamentals of light and focus.
Sometimes shooting with digital, you become I'll say like a scatter shot, like a shotgun. You're hitting everything around. But with this, you got to be specific with what you want because you're limited to how much film you actually have.
Brown says the Lomography Lomo Kino camera operates based on the original designs of the first filmmakers, Thomas Edison and the Lumiere brothers. A roll of film is only about 20 seconds and contains 144 frames. The film has to be hand cranked at a constant speed so the footage stays fluid.
So I'm going to have the students pick a song and play the song in their head. My song happens to be from a Bugs Bunny cartoon. She's the daughter of Rosie O'Grady, a regular old-fashioned girl. And that's how you learn to speak.
Brown isn't just teaching film photography to improve students' directing skills. The workshop was part of IU Care Week, a week-long series of events meant to help students cope with the stress of finals. He says shooting and developing film can be an effective creative outlet.
I've been told that I have my foot in the past and in the future, so I can teach the present. So for me, showing things like this gives them foundation of stuff, and for if they want to do different type of content and stuff like that, it's just a different texture that they have. And I'll be honest, shooting film is fun.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.